The Government of Canada, in partnership with the Government of Ontario and Ford Canada, is investing $1.8 billion to transition Ford's Oakville assembly plant into making zero-emission electric vehicles. The federal government will contribute $295 million towards this project.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government is spending hundreds of millions of dollars to encourage the sale of electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles across the country. We're told that's to fight climate change by lowering industrial greenhouse gas emissions. But is this an efficient way of doing it? The evidence would suggest no. First of all, one of the big programs is $300 million spent over 3 years to give people who want to buy low-emission vehicles rebates of up to $5,000. That's about 60,000 cars. Now, there's nothing wrong with people buying electric cars, but why should the rest of us have to subsidize them if the subsidies aren't doing what they're supposed to do? And that's not all the money the government is spending. It's spending $130 million to build electrical vehicle charging stations across the country. It's giving $5 million to the car companies to help them meet their low-emission vehicle sales, which are currently less than 4% of the market. They're giving a 100% tax rebate to companies that buy certain low-emission vehicles and use them for commercial purposes. Then there's the $590 million the federal government and the Ontario government are giving to help build an electric vehicle plant in Oakville. Okay, so is this stuff actually lowering emissions? Well, the federal government doesn't know. A senior official from Transport Canada recently told a parliamentary committee, we haven't compiled the data on whether the $300 million in subsidies are actually lowering emissions. When the Ontario government looked at it several years ago, they found that subsidizing electrical vehicles was one of the most expensive and least efficient ways to actually lower emissions. And when the Montreal Economics Institute looked at the issue several years ago, they basically said electric subsidies are a waste of money if your purpose is to actually lower emissions. So again, nothing wrong with buying an electric or hybrid vehicle. But why should the rest of us have to pay for it if the government either doesn't know whether it's working or doesn't know if it's a good way to do it? I'm Laurie Goldstein of the Toronto Sun. We're always interested in hearing your views, and please follow us on Facebook and our YouTube channel.